and welcome back to the channel where today I'm all caught up on Mandalorian Season 2. So this is my review discussion on that. I know a lot of you have been requesting this video, so here it is. If you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button. I've got a lot of other Star Wars videos online and videos just like this, including a new series where I look at the worst sequels of all time. So consider subscribing and checking out my other stuff. Now, I didn't actually watch any of The Mandalorian Season 2 until yesterday because I wanted to binge watch the whole series when it finally all came out. And I was quite concerned, I think it's fair to say, going in, because I'd heard so much hype about this season. And I wasn't sure if it was overhyped and if I was going to be disappointed. So, is The Mandalorian Season 2 overhyped? And is it a bad season? Well, first let's look at the good things that the season did. The main good thing that I really liked about Season 2 was how it developed Mando as a character. I certainly feel like Season 2, we definitely get to feel a little bit more of his character and we get to see more of him outside of his helmet. You know, who is the man behind the mask? And I think that that's really good. Obviously, I'm going to be discussing spoilers in this, but he takes his helmet off a few more times in this season and he starts to question his own Mandalorian beliefs and other people question it around him, you know. Is it all it's copped up to be? And as he bumps into other Mandalorians, or people who identify as Mandalorians, they don't quite follow the same religion as he does, the same branch of Mandalorian. And I think that's really interesting to delve into his beliefs and make him question them. I also really like how they question the New Republic and the New Order, you know. Is this galaxy ruled under the Rebellion better than a galaxy ruled by the Empire? And there's times in it you watch it and you're like, I really don't know. And they even raise the question, you know, at the end of the day, these people are just still being ruled, you know. It doesn't matter who's ruling them. There's still some dickhead dictating what they're going to do. And that's a really interesting and quite strong message to get across in a Star Wars show. And in any show, really. I think that's certainly a very political topic. And it's quite interesting to see because we were always sold that the Rebellion would be better to run the galaxy. And in this, maybe you're not so sure. And the Empire's still there. It's not just gone after they wipe out the second Death Star. It still exists and it's still bubbling under the surface. And for me, that's really good as well because I have a big problem with how the First Order rises in The Force Awakens. So this kind of, it kind of makes out that the Empire never really disappeared and it was always bubbling under the surface, so I like that it does that. The supporting cast in this are great as always, as they were in Season 1. Particular character highlights for me are Cara Dune. I really love her character in the first season. It's great to see her back. And Greef Karga is also great in this. I prefer him in this season to the last season. The last season he felt a bit pointless, but this season I feel like they knew what to do with him a little bit more. And how can we not talk about Baby Yoda, whose cuteness infests every episode, you know? That's one thing that I love about this show, you know? Baby Yoda, he is a meme and he's sort of there, but he's important to the story and he's also quite lighthearted. So you're watching this quite dark episode on politics and death and guns, and then Baby Yoda eats an egg and then throws up, and it's just really adorable. He definitely brings a smile to your face. Moff Gideon is a fantastic villain. Better than any of the villains that are in the sequel trilogy. Yes, even Kylo Ren. I think he's fantastic. He's so good. He's so evil and statistic, and you just watch him and you hate him. You hate every bit about him, but he's always sort of 2 steps ahead. Even when you think, oh, they're fine, you know, they're going to make it, Mando knows what he's doing now, you think, oh God, he's still 2 steps ahead. And I think that's really good. And I think the returning characters from other shows, such as Boba Fett and Bo-Katan, I think they're done really well. Again, I was worried when they said that they were bringing in characters like that, because I was worried that the series was going to be too fan-basey. But actually, they work really well. They're done very good. Boba Fett is fine. They don't explain how he's back, but I think that's probably a good thing because so many comics do it and I don't care how he's back. And like I said, Bo-Katan is definitely a highlight of this season and her Mandalorian squadron. It is cool to see them in live action after watching them in the Clone Wars for so long. Not sponsored, just very thirsty. But this is where my problem with Series 2 starts to arise, because I do feel like there is far too much fan wank in this. Bringing back Boba Fett was one thing. Bringing in Bo-Katan, you know, it's borderline, but it works for the series and what she does. However, they then bring in characters like Ahsoka Tano, and I was so excited when they said they were bringing Ahsoka to live action because she's one of my favourite characters from the animated stuff. And with how much of the marketing she was in, I expected her to play a real pivotal role in this series. But she doesn't, and I'm not sure if that's just me being disappointed because I didn't look into it properly and I expected her to be a bigger part of it. But she's only in one episode, and she feels kind of pointless in that episode. She feels quite inconsequential. I feel like if they didn't go to that planet and meet Ahsoka, not a lot would have changed, really. I know she directs them to the Jedi thing, but I don't really know why they put her in this to then do nothing with her. If you're going to bring in a character like Ahsoka, do something important with her. And instead, they just make her any old character. Anyone could have told them that. And again, she's in so much of the marketing, but she's barely in this series. So it does feel like all they did was put her in for the sake of, hey, look, we've got Ahsoka in this TV series. So it did feel very odd. And we can't really talk about this without talking about the finale and the appearance of Luke Skywalker. Now, before you yell at me, yes, I was happy to see Luke Skywalker. No, I did not see it coming. Yes, it was a great scene. I enjoyed it. But it was so fan wank. When I first watched it, I was like, damn, this is so cool. This is awesome. And then the novelty quickly wore off. And I was a little bit like, why is Luke in this, though? He doesn't need to be in it. One of the things I liked about Series 1 of The Mandalorian was that it was disconnected from all the other Star Wars shit. So it didn't have any of the heavy mythos on it, you know? Not really, anyway. It wasn't... The Mandalorian was just some guy, okay? And it was sort of showing the dark underbelly of the Star Wars universe. But now you've brought in people like Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, and Luke, it feels so heavy, and the Mandalorian is now so tied into it. I really don't like that. That kind of spoils it for me. And also the fact that Baby Yoda goes into training with Luke, I feel like it's kind of bittersweet because after the sequel trilogy, you know I don't consider them as canon, but most people do. So after the sequel trilogy, we find out that Luke failed in his new Jedi Order. So he's taking Baby Yoda away, and we want Baby Yoda to do well, but we kind of know that he's not now because the Jedi Order is going to fall. And that's not necessarily a fault of this show, but I don't like the direction they took Baby Yoda in that, or Grogu the child, whatever, he's Baby Yoda, come on. I think it just felt a bit unnecessary, and had they used a different Jedi, like, I expected that to kind of be Samuel L. Jackson. I don't know why. I just had a hunch. And I think that would have been better to do something shocking and twisting like that. It still would have been too fan wanky, but putting Luke in it just feels so forced. And there's a lot of stuff in this series that is too intense for fan stuff. I don't mind fan wank. Avengers Endgame is a movie of fan wank, and that is my favourite movie of all time. But it's done differently. It's done well. The fan wank isn't the most important thing, and at times it feels like it is in this series. I also hated the prison episode, you know? That was the only episode I really didn't like. I didn't like any of the characters, and I know you're not supposed to, but I struggled to watch the episode because I was like, everyone in it's so unlikable, and I don't understand the Mandalorian's logic as to why he's even a part of this. So I didn't like that, and there's a lot of episodes in this that feel like filler. You know, I appreciate the fact that they don't say every episode's got to be 40 minutes, so we're going to drag it out. You know, a lot of the episodes are different lengths. But there are certainly episodes in this that feel like filler and don't really contribute to the overall story. So I'm not a fan of that. And I think it suffers from the same thing that Iron Man 2 suffers from. It's trying to set up too much. So obviously we know about all these Disney Plus TV shows coming up. Ahsoka, The First Republic, Boba Fett. But by doing that, you've then got the Mandalorian Series 2 setting up so much stuff that it sort of crushes under its own weight, you know? Every episode, every scene feels like, hey, this could be a series. Hey, do you like this? Could be a film. Ah, you like that? Don't worry, we've got a series coming. And I don't like that. I don't mind it a little bit, but it goes too far. It promotes too much, and it feels like they're just setting up a TV universe for Star Wars because their movie one hasn't worked. So that did somewhat sour my enjoyment of the series. But it's not all bad. The special effects and the practical effects in this are great. It really feels like classic Star Wars. And that's because it's not all done on a green screen. There's actual location shots, and you know, when there's an explosion, a lot of those are real explosions with mini models and things like that, like the original Star Wars was. So I think that definitely works better, and it feels like the same universe, which is definitely a plus. And I know I've slated it a bit, but I did really enjoy this series. You know, it was fun to watch, it was enjoyable, the action was good, the lighting, the special effects, the costume. It looks stunning, you can't fault that, and it is very entertaining. And I would rewatch it, but there is just those things that hold it back for me. So overall, what did I think of Series 2 of The Mandalorian? Well, it feels a little bit messy, but I feel like it's an enjoyable mess. So it's good, but it's not great. I definitely enjoyed Series 1 more because it was new and it was fresh and it wasn't connected to all the other stuff. I enjoyed Series 1 a lot more. But Series 2 is still a fantastic piece of television, and I am probably going to rewatch it again. I did really like it. I'm curious about Series 3, what they're going to do. Is Luke going to be a big part of it? I hope not. Not because I don't like Luke, he's my favourite Jedi. I just don't want him to be in the Mandalorian show. You know, what's going to happen with Yoda? Baby Yoda, is he going to be in this next series? I'm intrigued, and I'm also worried about the future going forward for these Disney Plus Star Wars shows, because I don't want them to bite off more than they can chew like they did with the Star Wars movies. So it's good, it's not great, but I did enjoy it. So that's my video for today, guys. They're my rough thoughts on the series. I know this video was a bit of a mess, but it was quite difficult to get all my thoughts out there in a coherent order. But if you enjoyed this video, I've got countless more online. Please consider checking it out and subscribing to my channel. Hit that notification bell as always and give the video a little like. Comment down below your thoughts on The Mandalorian Series 2 and what you think Series 3 holds, or the other Star Wars series that are coming. And yeah, until the next time, guys, it's been a pleasure. See you in the next video.